Good morning, everyone. Myself, Aishwarya Mahante, is going to present on OCT. Can it be a predictor of eclampsia? There is no financial interest. Preeclampsia, with a prevalence of 3 to 8% of prevalence, has become the leading cause of maternal mortality, especially in developing countries. It is a multi-system disorder affecting eyes and visual system. Emphasizing the pathogenesis, reduced blood flow to placenta due to fibrospiral arterioles results in placental hypoxia ischemia, which leads to fetal growth restriction and in severe cases fetal death. There is also release of pro-inflammatory proteins into the maternal circulation, leading to endothelial dysfunction and systemic vasoconstriction, eventually resulting in maternal hypertension. And due to local vasospasm, there is major organ damage in kidney, retina, liver and brain. Visual symptoms are usually most common in third trimester, including blurring of vision, photopsia, scotoma, diplopia. Ocular findings include conjunctival vascular anomalies, hypertensive retinopathy, exudative RD, vitreous and preretinal hemorrhages, ischemic optic neuropathy, and hypertensive choroidopathy. There are very few clinical studies on preeclampsia's retinal changes. Objective and quantitative retinal imaging methods were lacking. So with the advancement of OCT, an attempt has been made to study RNFL changes in pregnant women with gestational hypertension in the age group of 18 to 45 years and establish the potential contribution of OCT as an eclampsia predictor. It was an observational prospective study including all the patients diagnosed with gestational hypertension by the Department of Obstetrics. It excluded pre-existing diabetes, hypertension, renal disease or any other retinopathy. An informed consent was taken from 35 patients after satisfying inclusion-exclusion criteria. Details pertaining to family history of hypertension, age, parity, gravida, and blood pressure were documented. Baseline data was collected. A comprehensive ophthalmological examination was done, including external examination, BCVA, slit lamp, IOP, detailed fundus evaluation, and peripapillary RNFL thickness was measured at first visit at 28 weeks and 2 months postpartum by HD-OCT. The severity of PIH was classified into preeclampsia and eclampsia according to ACOG guidelines. Now coming to results and discussion, maximum of my study population belonged to the age group of 30 to 40 years, with mean age being 32.48. The youngest patient in my study was of 20 years of old. There were 23 primigravida and 12 multigravida patients, and maximum of them belonged beyond the age group of 30 years. According to ACOG guidelines, there were 28 mild and 7 severe preeclampsia patients. On comparison of RNFL thickness from first visit to 28 weeks of gestation, in the mild preeclampsia group, there were 7 patients who had thicker RNFL thickness, 15 had no change and 6 of them had mild thinning. Likewise, in the severe preeclampsia group, 3 had no change and 4 had thicker RNFL layer thickness, out of which 2 patients ended with new onset convulsions who were terminated emergently. The mean RNFL layer thickness in the severe preeclampsia group increased from 96 micron at first visit to 10 micron at 28 weeks, and which decreased significantly to 98 micron postpartum. This was found consistent by a study done by Arab M. et al. In the mild preeclampsia group, there was no significant change. Highlighting the fundus changes, 13 patients had no hypertensive changes, 7 had grade 1, 6 had grade 2, 5 had grade 3, and 3 of them had grade 4 hypertensive changes. One of our study population was diagnosed with exudative RD on post-op day 2 of LSCS. Similarly, Reddy reported 53.4% of preeclampsia and 71.2% of eclampsia patients had retinal changes. These vascular changes in the retina that typically correlates with the severity of systemic hypertension. Therefore, observing the retinal changes can help in assessing the disease severity. Therefore, to conclude, I would like to say preeclampsia was more prevalent among the elderly primigravida in this study. Severe preeclampsia patient had thicker RNFL layer thickness during the pregnancy, which decreased significantly postpartum. At the same time, there was no change in mild preeclampsia group. And OCT with ocular fundus changes may be helpful in predicting the maternal risk, diagnosing the patient early, and it can help guide the obstetrician in early and prompt management. Therefore, fundoscopy is highly recommended in all these patients, especially in elderly primigravida during the antenatal visits, and there should be frequent follow-up. Secondly, SD-OCT can be used as a routine screening tool in all these patients before any vision-threatening complications can occur.